But we can go whenever you're ready.
I'm ready, bro. I mean, we've been ready, man. We've been
Fuck
ready.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
No, of course, man. And this conversation itself is already flowing as it is, man. And I love having these type of conversations because guess what? Or what should I call you? Father Mercy.
Father Mercy.
Father. Let me tell you, like, one of the reasons why I created this podcast, and we've talked about this so many times, why I created this podcast is, to seek, the hidden gems that they're out there, to help people out, to put them on the map, people to hear our stories, how shit really went down so they can learn from our mistakes and whatnot. But at the same time, I also doing this so I can have meaningful conversations with people, because there's times in which I don't have anyone around my circle that I can have a sit down and have these deep thoughts other than you.
Because you get it.
Yeah.
We went to war together.
Yeah. Hell and back.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? In one way or another, I fought the same battles that you fought, and I understand. Maybe, in one instance or another, like, I could have made a different decision, but we're still here.
We're still here.
And we're still doing it.
And that's what's important, man. The fact that we haven't even given up, the fact that we haven't given up overall, and we're still kicking it. It's because there's something out there in the universe that's keep telling us, is like, yo, don't just give up, man. Keep doing what you're doing. There's a calling for you. There's a calling for you. And once you find it, man, that's where you have to stick it through. My calling was podcasting, man, because I've never been so happy in my life than to do podcasting. I never thought about it. I never planned to do podcasting, to be honest. Never thought that I would be talking to strangers almost on a weekly basis, and like, and listening to their stories and guiding them. Sometimes I guide them, and sometimes I learn stuff from them. It's like, I never thought about that. My intentions were just, making dope music, tour a little bit, and have the life, the quote unquote life, But as soon as I was realizing that it wasn't making me happy and it was putting too much pressure on me and it was affecting my mental state, I had to do a pause for the cause, because it was hard for me to say, let me stop music for a bit. It was hard for me because I'm a stubborn person. Us Puerto Ricans, man, we stubborn ass, man. You know it, bro. And it was hard for me to admit that, to say like, damn, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I'm something that I thought that I was gonna make it. It was very hard, and I didn't see it. Like, I didn't see the light out of it. I didn't see the longevity of it. All I saw was short-term goals. That's what I was looking at it.
Yeah, I feel like we dig through our trash can too much.
Yeah.
When, like, we're like, dude, that's it. You're already, and I think that's the battle, right? Like, you dig through these ideas that you process and you try them out and you're like, and then you keep wanting to force yourself to come back to it. Yeah.
And that's,
I get it.
And that's how I felt about with music, even though I love making music. And I mean, it's just, it felt so much pressure that I felt like I wasn't making myself happy. I was just making people happy. And sometimes even those people weren't happy about my music. And I'm spending money. I'm spending money to make this happen. And I don't see any returns out of it. And that's fine. But when you see that you're spending too much money and you don't see no returns out of it,
Results,
then you're like, they're like, damn. So what really is my calling call? Like, what is it? And then all it took is just a microphone and talk about my shit. 100 episodes later, I'm doing this with you, man.
Hey, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And that's kind of where I love that. I'm happy too. I mean, like, again, some days are better than others, but I'm learning, bro. Everything right now for me, this project is helping me unlearn a lot. Like, unlearn a lot of things. Even yesterday, bro, I had one of the worst days you can imagine yesterday mentally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then, I was just like, well, you know what, bro? Like, there's other shit I should be excited about, you know? And then, like this interview and things like that, I guess we get too caught up and obsessed with being the best that we can be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's certain skill sets that we don't have that we should focus on instead of like continuing to sharpen a knife that already cuts. You know what I'm saying? So where we at?
No, and that's a journey that I'm also taking as I'm doing the podcast as well. And I'm learning a lot more about myself. And it's surprisingly because the more I do this podcast, is the more confident I become and the more goal driven I become with it. Like I see myself like 20, 30, 40, 50 years doing this, just talking shit and talking to people and getting to know them, getting interested. And the cool thing about the podcast that I'm trying to do, that this type of interview podcast, the Lone Wolf, is that every day there's brand new kids. There's always brand new talent coming up, and I get excited the fact that I get to discover some of these styles. Well, not in the sense that I'm the one who discovered. Like, no, I mean, like I've never heard of this person, and now that I talk to this person, I want to follow them all the way to the end. I want to follow their music. Like there's people that I've never met in my life, people that I've never thought that I will meet, like from Greece, Czech Republic, France, Spain, Canada, all the Canadian homies over there. And then other parts of the States. I never thought I was ever going to meet some of these guys, but I did. And it's very rewarding. And that's just scratching the surface of all the people that I've talked to. I haven't even talked, not even at 5% of what I should be searching out to. There's more talent out there that I'm so eager to look for it. I don't know. It's giving me such much confidence that before I never had that. I never had that curiosity, and it improved my. I don't know how should I say this. Like it improved myself as a conversationalist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's even a word.
You just made it up now.
I just made it up right now, and we're
that's
just gonna
put it on the dictionary. Put it on the dictionary.
Put it on the fucking Webster's dictionary. Conversationalist.
I like it.
Yeah, and I tell you, bro, it makes me happy. It makes me happy because before I was always like a little bit scared to, sending an email to somebody because the feeling of rejection is real. The feeling of rejection is like, fuck. But then once I actually truly embrace the part of what's the worst can happen? No. Okay, move on. It became like water for me after that.
I feel like that's where I'm at, right? Like the rejections, like obviously I'm going through that, right? Because it's a new project. Nobody knows who I am. I get it. Those rejections, like they make me want him more. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, you're gonna leave me on red? I got you. I'm gonna work harder now. So the opportunity is gonna come and I'm gonna smile. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what's starting to feel me like, the beginning of being an artist again, like a brand new project that I have to build from the ground up. And like I have to gather. We live in a very weird world. Fucking, gas prices are kind of coming down, but like the cost of living is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. So the finances aren't the same to just say, I'm going to throw 5 stacks on this project on ads and see what happens. I need to do the dirty work. I need to get my hands dirty. I need to, do the things that a upcoming artist should do.
Yeah.
And like, I'm finding the love for it again. And I'm like super excited about it, which is something I really haven't had in a while. Like, I tried really hard, but I was just tired. I was tired. It was just like a merry-go-round almost. You know what I'm saying?
Like a roller coaster of sorts.
A roller coaster in some senses, but then the roller coasters are fun. But once things become a merry-go-round, it's slow and it's the same circle over and over. Like it becomes very difficult to like find the motivation to keep going with those sets of standards that you set for yourself. You feel stuck. And now like I'm very excited that, maybe this is what I needed. to like feel the love for it, because I wasn't loving it. Just like our last conversation, I really wasn't loving it, bro.
You were forcing yourself to love it.
I was forcing myself to love it. That's and I felt like that became like a disaster for me. You know, when you love something and it falls apart, and then you're like, well, what could I have done better? Like, you really don't understand it until later. Like a project like this, where you're basically, you have to review. You have to review everything.
Yeah, no, and that's a journey that all of us go through, you know. And like I said earlier, it's one of those things that you do not want to admit.
You don't want to admit it. Hell no.
No, because I don't know. In my situation, I feel like, man, if I admit it, it's because I'm a failure. I'm a failure because
or I'm a quitter.
Yeah, I'm a quitter. I couldn't take the heat. It was too much, you know?
It was too much for me. But it wasn't that. It was just like when, you know, like we talked about earlier, like when you really don't know, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And you can go years without knowing.
Yeah.
And that really will haunt you when it matters the most. Not knowing like how you should do something or how you should feel about something. And I'm learning all that now, man. So like I said, I'm very excited for everything that I'm building right now.
No, of course. Something that our boy Mike Seller, man, shout out to him.
Oh, what's up, Mike?
Absolutely, man.
That's my dude, bro.
Something that Mike always says, you know, enjoy the journey, man. Because once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like you can't go back again and enjoy the journey all over again. Like, no, you already did it. So
but I feel like, and shout out to Mike, and he's 100% right. Like, I couldn't agree more. But then like something else tells me like, what about the people that fail? What about the people that fell hard? They got to get up. They got to dust themselves off.
Right.
And they got to try again. Because just because you failed, or in your mind, right? Because failure is subjective, right? Like your definition of failure may be different than mine. But when you don't get to where you wanted to be, and you want to quit, and you want to stop, and you want to do all that, dude, sometimes, man, like sometimes you got to take that shit to the chin and get knocked out to know what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Because that when you wake up, you're like, okay, I'm gonna get back up, and I'm gonna go back and do what I was doing. But now I know not to get hit the way I got hit before. You know, that's the best analogy I can. I love fighting, so that's like something I really
of course, bro,
can relate to.
Excuse me, I'm a little sick.
No, toma agua, chico, toma agua.
Dale, estoy bien, yo estoy bien.
I'll drink a little bit for
you. I'll take some. No, and I absolutely do agree with what you're saying, man. And sometimes you actually have to take it in the chin, you know, for you to like, all right, move on. Let's just move forward, you know. Like, all right, you failed. It happens. It happens to everybody, you know. Now,
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
Are you just gonna mope around and stay down and, you know, oh, I got fall.
Pouring me, which I've done. I'm not talking shit. I've done that. I've been there. I've been that guy. Pouring me, whatever. And then you got to realize, how long are you going to stay there?
Yeah.
In that defeat, exactly. Right? How long are you going to stay? When are you going to get back into getting it done? You know what I'm saying? So
no,
I feel like it's important for everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
To have that mindset, because, you know, once upon a time, when you don't have that mindset, like you can really cause so much irreparable damage to yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, the clock always ticks, and the days go by, and the months go by, and the years go by. And it's up to you when you want to wake up when you're 55 and you regret everything, or today, right now.
And it's that, you know, that hesitation, you know, the time sensitive hesitation, because I mean, I feel like that's why sometimes a lot of men, and I say this a lot more because this happens a lot more to men. Obviously, it happens to both men and women, but you see it more often on men, on boys, you know, because, you know, when you were kids, everybody tells you that if you cry, you're a crybaby, you know? So when something hurts you, you want to suck it up and you don't want to demonstrate your emotions and your feelings, because if not, you'll get made fun or you'll be poked at it, you know? And it's because of that root. It roots us up all the way to our adulthood, to say that when something goes up, you so want to cry, but you can't, because if not, people will see you or treat you differently.
But you know what? I agree, because I grew up like that as well. What's sad is that a lot of people don't understand that shit.
No, exactly.
Unless, a lot of people don't understand being ultra sensitive, and that goes into like the mental health aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't, like a lot of people just within the industry, within scene, within friendships, within whatever, like it really sucks that some people don't take the time to understand that small little aspect that we call an emotion. Everybody wants to tell you, get your ass up and do that, right? Because it's contradicting to what we just said. But there's also another side to it, and I also want to bring it out, right? Because I don't lean on any side. I always drive down the middle, because you really don't know what's on the left or the right until you've been there.
I agree.
So I feel like awareness to that, because a lot of artists struggle with that, right? We've had major situations, I guess. I don't want to like be insensitive, where artists have taken their life because it's like it's a struggle, no matter how successful they've been, or how unsuccessful they've been. Like they just can't find the way out of that hole. And I guess that's what the point of the conversation that we're having, regardless, like being in tune with yourself and not worrying about what everybody else thinks. So if you're being called a pussy, or you're being called soft, or whatever names that there are out there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to spend too much time on that negative shit, but like, it's cool that if you're going through that, to understand that there's people that felt that same exact way and they did something about it.
Yeah, bro. And I'm very open about that. I'm very vocal on that regards, very specific, especially here on my show, bro. I definitely want to let the whole world know that I'm an open book. I'm very vulnerable. Like, I can tell you all the demons that I had to dealt with in the past. I can tell you, that I'm a very emotional person. I can even tell you all the stuff that I love to do. Like, what's a 32-year-old man is gonna go ahead and tell you, oh yeah, he likes playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards competitively.
That's what you like to do, bro.
That's what I like to do, and I say it very openly. I like to play Pokemon. I like to play all the Pokemon games. There, I believe, is dope. It's been something that I've done it from since I was a child, and there's nothing wrong about that. And
but that's the people you're talking to. That's the people that you want to reach out to. The people who are just like you.
Exactly. And I want to let them know that, dude, guys, it's okay that you feel all these sort of stuff. Embrace it, Be you. Don't ever let society ever dictate you how you should run your life, because they're not going to be there when you fuck up your life. No, they're going to be there when and criticize you how you fuck up your life, It's kind of like the, I don't want to get into it, Everybody has their own decisions with this, but this is the analogy I'm trying to get to. It's like the whole abortion's right thing, A lot of people criticize women and say like, oh, why should you abort the child, or you should abort this? Hey, every woman has the right to do whatever they want, And but it's so funny that they say abort. And then when the woman doesn't abort it, everybody starts criticizing like, oh, it's because you slept around with so and so, oh, you're not gonna take care of your kid. Oh, because of this. And I'm like, really, bro? Like,
those are the people you remove. Like, as a person, like, it's a sensitive topic, I kind of want to talk about it.
It is a sensitive topic, but the analogy I'm trying to get to is that it's funny when society only dictates you, the way you should live, and then the moment you do exactly what they did, you still get punished of what you did. You're like, really, bro? Like, I did exactly what you did, and now I'm getting back shit out of it, and it gets to the point like, you know what, fuck you all guys, like I'm just gonna do
but
me.
that's the attitude. I feel like for me, where I've found comfort, right, and this may be toxic to some people, is that, right, is just removing everybody, because like sometimes you want to be too available and you want to be a great person to everybody, and then bro, like eventually you're going to need that. Not that you're asking for it, because you don't give to receive all the time, but I feel like, the people who are there for you the most, like, and that's something that I'm appreciating now. Those are the people that you should listen to, because they really care about the way you feel.
Yes,
they really care about your decisions. Like, like support, like, some people should, the people who are lucky enough to have girlfriends, you know what I'm saying? The people who have a best friend, the people who have an extremely supportive mother and father, like it's different for everybody. But I feel like those are the people, like, right, as an artist, since we're talking about what other people think, that's where you find true happiness, is when you like go through the struggle of removing the people who aren't really there for you and pulling the people who've always been there closer.
Yes.
And you get caught up in this bullshit because you think everybody's your friend and this and that. And like, they're not, at least in my experience. Like the people who give a fuck about you, sometimes we appreciate less than. And I feel like what's going to help me, and I'm getting better at stuff like that, is getting away from the whole, I want to be a rock star, and I've done this before, and that was amazing. And like when you get out of that shit and you really appreciate like your art and love and things like that, then you become more spiritual. Then you're a little more in tune, right? When you're worried about likes, comments, and people think you suck and you made this decision and that decision, again, bro, I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking about my experiences. You get lost there.
Yeah. It's a very fine line right there that you can easily get lost through it. It's a blur line. It's a very blur line, and unless you wake up from reality, you won't realize like what was reality to begin with.
And I feel like that alone will rob you from any sort of appreciation for the journey.
Yeah.
Back to what Mike said.
Back to what Mike said.
Yeah.
No, but it's also good that, and it's funny you say that, because I still feel like even at the lowest points of your life, I feel like that should be also be considered part of your journey. Your journey is not always going to be success and nothing less, It's a fool's goal if you ever think like that, There will be times in which you will feel like, damn, what's going on? Or there will be times in which like, fuck, I just failed on something. There will be times in which an obstacle will show up in front of you. And you're like, fuck, how the hell am I going to overcome it? How am I going to go above it? Well, you do. You learn how to overcome it. You learn to move around it or jump on top of it, But
naturally,
it ain't going to be easy.
Naturally, though, and I love the fact that you said that. I wish I would have heard that 4 years ago, because instead of overcoming or instead of going around an obstacle, I went through it. And that shit will slow you down. You're right. That shit, like, being stubborn and like you said, not listening to certain people, because you get into this not knowing anything, and then you get, you get whatever success that you get. And then sometimes you really lose yourself in what made you get that success in the first place. Yeah. And then you just stay stagnant and you really think it's going to last forever. And it doesn't. It lasts that much because that's the amount of work you had to do for it to give you that much. And like, I feel like now where I'm at in my career and the journey that I'm at is, I'm just working hard, and whatever happens, happens, because I'm just going to continue to grind and grind and grind. And I'm going to look up every now and then. But at the same time, that's all I could do is grind. Because if you get stuck in, I'm not getting the numbers that I want, or I'm not getting this person to download my music, or dude, just grind. That's all I can tell you.
Don't stop. And it's fun and it's amazing that you're saying that in particular, because that's also my situation right now with the podcast show. I'm like, as much as I love my podcast show, I definitely want to take this show to the next level, but I'm not getting the numbers. So right now I'm in that grind mode, and I'm reading books, see like how can I improve my podcast a bit? How can I market my podcast? Where can I market it? What do I have to do? Do I have to build a trailer? Do I have to shop out some videos and then made a trailer out of it and then just throw an ad at top of it? I'm in that mode right now, believe it or not, because obviously I love my show, and I'm not a big numbers person. I really don't care about how many people like or share or view my show, but but at the same time, is like I kind of do want it to be a little bit big, but I don't mentally, I don't overthink about that stuff, because all I'm thinking is I just want to have a conversation with somebody, and I'm in that process, and it's very hard, because marketing a podcast is not the same thing as marketing as an artist.
As an artist, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if I can give you some advice,
absolutely,
that's kind of what my whole thing is about, right?
Yes.
Any idea that you have, stop waiting, right? Because if I didn't have my girl pushing me to this shit, I'd just wait for next year and make excuses. Like, I really feel like sometimes it goes back to getting on your grind. A part of getting your grind together, I feel like, is having, I wouldn't really call it a team. It's just having like a partner or a family member or a friend or whatever that you can go to and be like, okay, what do you see? Where are the holes in my project? Because dude, sometimes like that is literally like what we need. Right.
Absolutely, man. And luckily I do have my cousin, shout out to Chris. His name is Chris as well.
Hello, Chris.
He religiously listens to my podcast every week, man. And I love that guy for doing that. And
that's what's up.
And it's because of him, he pushed me into making the podcast, because I was talking about it and I was trying to come up with ideas or try to think of logos and shit, whatnot. He's like, dude, don't overthink about that. Like, do you have a microphone? Yes. Do you have a system where you can record it? Yes. Then fucking start doing it. Everything.
And you said you were 100 episodes?
Like, this is like 125th. This
125.
Episode 125.
Okay. So would you say that you've understood your position within your podcast?
I don't follow. I'm too slow.
Okay. Nah, man, you're not too slow. Maybe I just worded it wrong. What I'm trying to say is, do you feel like you got the hang of what you're doing very well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So you remember what I said a little bit ago, where sometimes we over sharpen knives that already cut?
Yeah.
So now it's time to start sharpening up other areas within your podcast that you feel like you're struggling in. Because it's not just about, right, like for me, I'm not going to make a shit ton of music and put it out there and hope that everything comes to me, right? Because like as an artist, that's not going to work.
Exactly.
I feel like, when it comes to like building a project, you got a brand, you got to have a meaning for the brand.
Yeah.
You got to have a sound. You have to understand what you want people to perceive you as, right? And I feel like, where are my weaknesses, right? Okay, so I want to incorporate within my brand something that I do, right? Which is my spiritual stuff. Mm-hmm. I also like, I have friends that sometimes hit me up and like seek some answers or just somebody to hear them out. And then once you hear them out, you can actually like understand how maybe you can guide them to a solution, right? So I feel like my music right now, I'm really happy with the way it sounds. I feel like my branding or the way I'm perceiving my brand is really not too hard, because it's right. Like, this isn't a gimmick. This is really who the fuck I am. And I'm not scared to show it of you. Some people may think whatever they may think, I don't care. So there's steps that I'm taking, whether I get 500 plays or 100 plays or 10 plays. I'm going to continue to do what feels good for me, understanding that every idea that I bring to my project is going to expand it, right? So when you say marketing, I just feel like your best marketing is the evolution of your product. It's the way you evolve it. That's when the numbers start to come, because that's when your whole message of who you are as a brand or as an artist really has a voice, right? Because I can sit here and tell you what my brand is, but how can I show you? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I feel like your podcast has grown. I've seen all the episodes that you've done. I just feel like now you're good at this. Yeah. You understand this, you know, like the way you edit, like that's good. The way it sounds, that's good. The way you carry your conversation, that's good. Where are your holes? Only you know that. Truthfully, I don't know. I'm not a podcast guy. I feel like this is so hard to do because I couldn't do this. Like you have to have a personality to do this.
No, absolutely. And I'm so grateful that, thank you for saying all that stuff, man. And I've noticed that from the first episode that I started with the show all the way to where we are right now, like I can see my own growth, and I can admit it. It's like, holy crap, like I wasn't the same person when I started the episode, and especially with the thumbnails and even the word I'm in the title. Well, the titles, I always like to keep it like very pun intended or meme intended, but even so, it has gotten even better. Even the wording, the description, the visually and all that stuff. Like everything is like completely different since the first episode all the way to where and I'm super happy about that progress. I do admit, like my weakest point, and even when I was an artist, that was also my weakest one. But it was much more easy to handle it. My weakest point was always the marketing, like targeting marketing. I always fuck a lot more with organic growth. Like I want the organic growth, and I'm getting the organic growth. It's happening, and people are fucking with it. But yeah, like that is still the thing that I'm weak about. And obviously having a show like this, like I'm doing this solo, I'm the one-man army. Like I'm the one handling the social medias. I'm the one conducting the interviews. I'm the one, recording all the interviews and having the whole setup. I'm the one who has to email and DM artists and get rejected by it. Like
I know the feeling.
Yeah, I'm doing all that. I'm the one uploading it. I'm the one doing the thumbnails. Like it's a whole one army show that I'm doing all by myself. And obviously, this could be a whole lot more better if I have like a small team or having one extra person that can actually assist me a little bit more, and then things can go a little bit more smoother. But the reality is I don't. And it's funny because that's something that also my cousin also told me is try not to rely on others. Don't wait for, not rely on us. Don't wait for others. That's the word. That's the phrasing. Don't wait for others. Because if you wait for others, then you'll never get things done. And it goes back again to what you said. Like if you already have something, just do it. Just go for it. And I could not agree more with that, man. And
balance is also an important factor. I'll give you an example. I like to always use myself. So I started, we decided my other project to, separate. So that was already known. So I had time to even decide if I wanted to do this again, right? Because, you get older, you have responsibilities. And
yeah.
So I took the time to understand if I wanted to do it. Then I decided I wanted to do it. Then I had like a bunch of other ideas that I was going to make a brand, and then it just didn't feel right. So I took more time to think about it. Have a point. And, for many reasons, my girlfriend and I, we felt like doing a lot of spiritual stuff, because we really felt like things were, like not how they should be. So it's time to redirect our energy, right? So we started doing a lot of spiritual work around the house and, just to feel good. We moved out here. We don't know nobody. I live in Orlando now. So, sometimes all you really have is your spirituality, like your ancestors and entities and energies that you can connect to. And, to some other person that may be God or Jesus Christ. I don't know, whatever. I'm not really that religious when it comes to that.
Right.
This is what I've always known. So I was like, you know what? This is what I want to do. Like, I want to push this out there, tarot reading and the candle work and there's bathe work. And there's so many different things you can do in the spiritual world. Then I came up with the name one day. We were laying down. I had a strong connection with Father Mercy and what I wanted Father Mercy to represent.
Right.
And I took almost 3 months. Now, here's where my point is. I was like, all right, well, time to start making music because there's no project without music. Bro, I spent 3 months just only producing. That's it. Like, that's all I was doing, like trying different genres, sound design. How do I want the project to sound? How, like you spend all these hours in the studio. I didn't have a logo. I didn't have social media pages.
Right.
I didn't have, and 3 months passed. And I was like, shit, like, the time is going and it's been a couple months. I need to start balancing because I'm by myself. Yeah, my girl helps me with a lot of stuff. I give her credit. But as an artist, you have a lot of responsibilities now, right? Like social media and pictures and music and the way that you're going to move around your song and this and that and emails. And I found that I was spending way too much time producing music and not focusing on other areas that I needed to make a reality, like a logo, like, social media, right? So that's when I started to really narrow shit down where like, okay, this is what my brand's going to be about. These are the type of videos that I want to do. Like, I don't just want to be a producer. Like, I actually want to use my brand, use my following and show them what I do, to feel better spiritually. And there's a lot of people that I feel like are the same way. And I just want to be connected with those people. So I don't know, man, I feel like I already know how to produce. I know what I got to do, but like there's other areas that I wasn't really like focusing on. So maybe that's something that maybe a formula you can take. Just maybe you're overworking yourself. Maybe you're doing a lot of interviews when, you can condense them just a little bit so you can focus on other areas in the podcast. And I definitely feel that there's absolutely no way that you can do this wrong.
No,
nobody else is really doing it. Maybe like 2 other people in the game, in the music industry game, in the underground game. And I feel like you have a lot. I think you have more support than you think.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're actually right. And I'm not seeing it because I'm letting, the numbers dictate, the support instead of actually like outside of that perspective of abstract numbers. Maybe you're absolutely right, because if I look at if I take a step, I do have a lot of people that I've set down and they're very loyal to me, especially with the show, and they do appreciate that I do the show. And maybe you're right. I do. Maybe I do have followers. It's just something that I do not want to give up, and I don't see myself ever giving up.
Hell no. I don't see you giving up either.
And it's like you say, and it's something that you said not too long is there's only like a few people who's doing this low key. I know the people who are doing this. What stands out from me and those people is exactly what these people are not doing.
I feel like that's your way of hitting it. That's your way of of having conversation, right? Because there's different types of conversation. You can just ask a shit ton of questions.
Yeah.
And
There's the
short
typical
responses.
Q&As, obviously you Q&A, and have a conversation through those Q&As. Absolutely. That's interview 101, but it's a difference between doing that, asking a lot of questions at a certain person and then giving you answers versus having a meaningful conversation and through there give some cues, but it's through that conversation that we do it, like it becomes very natural when you're asking these conversations. It doesn't feel like, oh yeah, I'm expecting him to give me a cue after my answer, like no, it's more later after we having a rabbit hole of conversation or whatever we're talking about. That's like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we're in an interview. Yeah, absolutely. This and then, and even so, there's even times in which I conduct some of these questions, and even one question itself can become its own rabbit hole. I honestly have not seen it with other podcasters out there within our realm. I know they're good people. I'm not trying to bash them out. I'm not trying to call them out or say anything negative. Everybody has their own ways. Everybody has their own merits to do things. I just feel that I'm much more different and much more confident than any of these guys, because these guys, they do it because they, obviously they want to have the artist to reveal some stuff, and get the people know the artist as a person. Me, however, I'm the one who's trying to understand the artist. Because I'm the one sitting down with it. The people don't know that. The people, when they see it, they just see us having a conversation. I'm trying to understand the person, and I'm trying to have a connection with that person.
Right. You're not just trying to like ask me some specific questions. You're trying to actually like understand what my thought process is. I feel that.
Exactly. And see where that thought process goes and understand why your thought process goes that way. I feel like I'm the only one who actually does that. Anybody can tell me otherwise. Well, let me know. But I'll tell you this. I've watched a lot of EDM podcasts out there, and I definitely stand out. Maybe I just need a little bit more love in the viewership department, but that's a different story.
I mean, there's different ways to cook an egg,
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like anybody's doing it wrong. I don't feel like
there is no wrong way. There is no right or wrong way. It's the consistency and the dedication that you throw into it, and demonstrate how real you are. They want authenticity. They want to see how real, how authentic you really are. They don't want to see that you're, obviously your Q&A. They don't want to see that. They see that too many times. They want to see how real can you get with this certain person. Like, how far can you go? That can go further than some of these interviewer guys can do. Like, shout out to Mark Tengraphs, who's right now out there here.
He's dope.
Dope producer, dope person. Did the interview, man. He was comfortable enough to reveal some of his dark secrets with me, and it was okay to put it out there on the public, and I felt like, dude, you don't want to talk about this, that's fine, we can see it. He's like, nah, we can talk about this. You see, that alone just tells you already the difference between me and others. Because
you're trying to get the real person out.
Exactly.
Not an act.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I always want to keep it that way with my own show. And not to mention another thing that a lot of these podcasters do not do, which I feel like I guess I understand probably why they don't do it, because they're in a position that they don't need to. But at the same time, I feel like if you want to be part of the community, you should be doing this. And what I'm doing that none of these people are doing is that I'm interviewing people who are no blue check marks, up and comers, local talents from different cities, different states, and they were just a friend of a friend, talented as fuck, basically hidden gems within boulders and rocks around the whole grass, little goals that you weren't aware that they were right there in the sand. I'm doing that. I'm giving that voice to the community. Why? Because the community deserves that. And I want to give back the community just the way they give it to me. None of these people do this. I have not once seen, I'm not gonna name drops. I'll edit, I'll beep this out. I have not seen interviewing any up and comers. All I know is that he interviews people from the Chicago area, like Flosserdamus and some of those big guys.
dudes. Yeah.
Big dudes. I've not seen Mr. Bill, which I love Mr. Bill. Mr. Bill goes more directly to the educators of the industry, but never seen anyone below it. And not seen interview anybody that's not below her standards. I've not seen any of these guys. There's probably one person, and I give him credits, but the difference between him and me is that he has a school. I don't. It's just me and my show. And it's Wyatt from Dawn Nation.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably the only one that actually goes directly to the people and talk through the people and have these conversations with these people, with these up-and-comers. It's probably the only one. And even so, his podcast with AU5, it's just more, it's not like how I do it. It's more, it's an educational podcast. It's more about, how to sound like Chime or how to sound like Wolv, how to sound like AU5. And he has a school. He has an online course. Obviously, that's his thing. So he's like probably the closest thing that I can think of that's doing what I'm doing, But even so, he actually has a Discord that I'm in it, but he doesn't actually sit down and go one by one with different people, with different kids who are trying to make it to the scene and try to learn from them. And it's something that I did recently on the latest episodes, and it is at the end of the show, I give them the opportunity to ask me something, whether it's something about me or my experience or something about the industry. I want them to give them the opportunity because maybe they have a question that they always want to ask about, something that they weren't aware about or know about it. And this could be like the perfect time. And when I tell them that, bro, floodgates are open, man. They just let it out. It's like, yo, so what do you think about, looking for a managers? Or, yo, what was the hardest thing that you did as a producer? Yo, what should I actually start? Like, should I focus? There's like questions like crazy left and right. Like you can check them out on the latest. And it makes me happy the fact that I'm able to sit down with these guys and tell them, it's like, you're going to be okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. Just avoid this because when I did this happened. There's for every action, there's an opposite reaction. So when I did this happened to me. So be worried when you do that type of stuff. And the praises that I get from, it's just, I couldn't ask for more, man. I'm grateful that I helped someone, at least one, and they were very grateful for that and appreciative for that helpness, and that alone fulfills me. And that's what I feel that I stand from the others, because that's my authenticity right there. That's my true self. Me helping you or you helping me. Me learning something from you and you learning something from me.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I stand. And that's why I feel, and I know this for a fact, like I know this, and I'm not trying to be self-righteous about it. It's just, it's a feeling like, that this show will be up there and this show will take it to the next level because of my authenticity, because of how real I am and how public and open book I am about my realness to people, That's my thoughts about why I feel like why I definitely stand out from others, And I don't know how. I don't know everyone's position of why they do what they do it. I just know that in mine, I'm doing this because it makes me happy, and it makes me happy to help others. That's
Love
it.
that.
That's it. Like there's no more into it. There's no more revealing. It's just it makes me happy to help other people. That's it. That's all about, man.
Hell yeah, brother. I fuck with that. Fuck with that heavy.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, bro, like I already know exactly what I'm gonna do. And you gave me the idea about it, because I said like I want to make a trailer. And I'm gonna make a trailer. I'm gonna cut out like some of the dope episodes. I'm gonna chop them up and I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put so much ads on top of it.
Yeah, there you go. An ad, dude.
Yeah.
An ad is maybe for different reasons. Like other people don't run it, but I mean, I don't see why people shouldn't be taking advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a community out there
I agree.
That's deep enough to want to know, artists or maybe, you know what, man, like it's out there. Mm-hmm. And if somebody wants to look that up ever, it exists. That conversation with that person exists.
Yeah.
Forever.
And that's what's cool about it. The fact that there's a conversation about it. Like this is something that has happened with someone, and that people can actually see this. Like I'm one day, like this is gonna be on an ad, and people are gonna see us having this conversation as it is,
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be like, "Oh shit, let me hear what they're talking about. Oh wow, this is some deep level shit. I never thought about. I was just clicking about to just see, but now I'm like, damn, I want to follow more about his shit."
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a ladder after that. Becomes a chain, and then it becomes 1 to 10, 10 to 100, 100, 1,000, 1,000, so on and so on. Like they all say that we always had it only takes us one person to come over to our show, right? And then that one person will bring his group of friends, and it becomes 10. And then the next time, it's gonna be 100 of them because they say, "Yo, it's because this guy is dope. We should actually fuck with it." And then the 100 becomes later 1,000. I mean, you're a test of that, man. You're a test of that. I've like, how many times have you seen the same people coming over to your show or say like, "Yo, I fuck with you ever since you went to this first show," and
mm-hmm.
You're like, "Holy fuck, that show was like so and so long ago."
Yeah, we had actually to touch up on that. So today we actually released the whole, the goodbye Big and Slim.
Yeah.
And I am seeing a bunch of those comments where like people are like, "Oh, I remember that show at Life in Color. I mean the set at Life in Color. I remember that show at Steam," and it's like, holy shit, that was a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool. At least the end of that project, I guess, for me to see that, that people actually appreciate it. Because at the end, that's all you want, right? You want people to appreciate your art for what it is. So where I'm at today with that, today was pretty special for that because we were able to say goodbye and say thank you, to everybody that was a part of it.
And how did that make you feel? Like, if you don't mind me asking, like what was the overall color of your day with the fact that you're putting it out there and it's official? Like, we're out.
I was ready for it just because we talked about it so much.
Uh-huh.
And it was just a matter of us polishing our project well enough to actually put it out there where it would make sense, right? For both of us to expose our projects to their potential.
Yeah.
So we've known for a couple of months. My thoughts for it was I was just excited for the response. I was excited for the people who said, "I can't wait to hear both of your projects."
Yeah.
I was excited for the people that said, "I remember this show and this is how I felt at that show." I was excited to read those comments. Just love, right? Like it's just thank you, appreciations. Like that's cool because it's like, damn, like it was all worth it. Like regardless of different situations. Like we made people feel a certain way, and that's all you really want as an artist, to make people feel whatever it is that they feel. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But the reason why I asked, because obviously I'm like you say, you've already known that this day was gonna happen. But I feel sometimes it's different when it actually does happen. Those feelings that, like, I know it's over. It's over. I know it's gonna be over. And then when the day comes, it's like, oh shit, it really is over. Like, did you ever feel like that today?
Dude, I wanna be honest, because I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. I was just ready for it. Like, I processed all those emotions, before.
Okay.
I building this project. That's how I built this project. Like, those emotions, the detachment from something you've been, I've been working hard at with someone else for 6 years. And then finally you both understand that it's time to walk away. Like, I dealt with that already, behind the scenes, because there's really, there's a way to do things where it's like, okay, you're going to leave a project, and then what are you going to do? Right. So, like, you make that decision, like, okay, no, I want to keep going. Okay. Your unders, you want to keep going. Okay, cool. So we both have our own projects. And I feel like that helped the hopeless feeling that it was over, because it's really not over for either of us. We're both just reinventing ourselves through something else, like, I really don't have any comparisons to it, because you can easily get lost in like staying in a project for too long. And I guess in relationships, it's the same way. Yeah. Sometimes it's just, you just got to move on. You got to move on for creative purposes, for personal purposes, whatever that means to you, because everybody's an individual. Like, if something's not, passionate as it used to be, like, it's time to give yourself an opportunity to do something else, whether that be switch a sport or switch an activity or whatever the case may be. Like, I don't know, like, I felt that the older you get, sometimes what you used to stand for or what you used to represent, like, you really don't represent anymore, and that was a disassociation that I had, that we had. It was both of us. That's kind of what really got me ready for today. Today, I was just excited for him to show off his project and for me to show off my project, and to show the people that we still have something to offer. So, yeah.
And this is something that you guys have already talked about over the years. Like you guys already, like, predicted that sooner or later we're gonna have this conversation in which you're like, hey, Big and Slim is done, right?
Yeah. And like I said, it's when you've gone through so much as a project, and the post today said it, itself. We wrote a really special post today where, like, it was awesome. Everything was great. We had a lot of fun, but it wasn't always a lot of fun, because sometimes your immaturity and your indecisiveness and a lot of these decisions that you make for your project don't turn out the way that you expected them to, for one reason or another. But I feel like the big thing is accountability, as an artist. So, like, there was a lot of times that he and I had made different decisions just because, not really put a lot of thought into it. And then, the situation went to shit, and we're like, all right, well, let's get up and let's keep going. And you can only do that for so long before, like, things just don't feel the same anymore musically. I felt like today was just a rebirth for the both of us. And it's exciting. It's really exciting for the both of us.
That's a dope way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are legends, man.
We are legends, man. But dude, my project now, again, like, I'm excited about it again. Like, I it's something brand new to me.
Like, the whole fire started to spark again.
Yeah,
Say, like,
yes. and you have visualizations and like
Right.
just the overall creating something new is very exciting because you have full control over it now. Like,
That's something that is very important. You know, the fact that you have full control of your creative process with your persona, with your image, with your music, overall the creativity as it is, like you have full control out of it, and know how to, you know, present it itself. You know, like there's no better feeling the fact that you know what you want to put out there, you know. So
mhm.
so dude, like let's talk about you and Father Mercy, man. Like I want to know more about Father Mercy and why it really, this really was the project that's like, this is how visually I want to see myself as, you know. You already explained where Father Mercy come,
Mhm.
but I want to know, where did this whole feeling and sensation and saying like, you know, I'm gonna go start doing this, and I want Father Mercy to be look like this. This is how it's gonna be presented by.
Um, you know, I would like to say some crazy shit happened, but it didn't. It was just more of me connecting all of the dots in my head of what I wanted to stand for, which I said earlier, what I wanted to do with the project, you know, like making bangers and playing shows, that's dope. Then I still want to do that 125%. But I also want to bring something real from my life
Yeah.
into my project, which is, you know, spirituality. Like what I did first, just to see if this was something I really wanted to do. I opened up a TikTok account before I even released anything, before I even posted on social media, hey, I have a new project. I quietly opened up a TikTok and I started posting like weekly messages, right? Like I would get my tarot deck. I would, you know, obviously get in my zone, and I would pick some cards out and explain what message the cards had for that video. And I did that like 10 times. And dude, it worked. I mean, again, not really trying to use numbers or anything, but then again, that's how you measure your growth. I have like every video so far that I've posted, I'm grateful for, has like 2,000 plays and has like 200 likes. And there's nothing else. You don't know what I look like. You don't know what my music sounds like. It was just, I'm posting this little energy that I created with this card, and this is what it means. Hopefully, it helps you have a better day. And I did that, and it grew. And then I'm like, okay, I definitely want to add this, you know, because there's a lot of things that I know has worked for me. You know, I've been around spirituality my whole life. Like I basically grew up in it. You know, a part of my family, not all of it, a part of my family was extremely into the African culture. So I was exposed to that at such a young age, and I understood it well because I was around it for so long. So, you know, I don't go to church. I don't do a lot of, you know, different experimentations because this is what I feel extremely connected to. So
Right.
I don't feel like I need to go do something that I don't feel connected to. So I want to teach people that this is what I believe in, and how I do certain things to make myself feel better and help my energy, right? Because I believe that there is a higher being, right? I'm not going to deny that, but I also feel like we're all energy, and everything around us is energy, and like there's ways to attract good energy, there's ways to attract bad energy. I believe that when we pass on, and once our ancestors have passed on, their energy remains. Like maybe they're not here physically, and maybe sometimes not even emotionally, right? That's all in you, right? And how you remember that person, but their energy stays. And, you know, I haven't really dealt with so much self power in such a long time until I started to practice again, right? Because it's a practice at the end of the day. Like you need to, if there's, I can't really get deep into it because we'll talk forever, but there's different ways of helping those energies get stronger, right?
Okay.
And these entities get stronger. And all it takes is a simple candle. You use minerals, right, to attract things. You use your self power to attract things. And that's where rituals come into play. That's where different herbs and you take showers with them come into play. Because everything on this earth, like I'll give you like a really simple analogy. Like when you cook food, everything has an ingredient, right? That's something you consume. That's cool. But what I believe in is there's ingredients for energy to be used, for good and bad. I mean, there's bad magic too. Don't get me wrong. I don't do that. I stay away from that. I protect myself and my family, and I give what I can to the rest of the world to say, hey, like there's a way that if you do believe in your ancestors and you do believe in the universe and energies, and hey, there's a way that you can service those energies to make you whole. So that's what Father Mercy is about. It's about showing people the spiritual world in my authentic way, showing them little rituals that they can do at home, whether they want to attract, job, they want to attract, I won't say you take a bath and you're going to find love, but you put that out there in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't a fucking hocus pocus, but it's deeper than that. I want to be funny with it because a lot of people think, oh, so you can make somebody fall in love with me. It's like,
calm down, bro.
You watch too many movies, my bro. That's not what this is about.
This is ain't voodoo shit, bro. Come on. Calm
down. Bro. However, there is a part of that I work with, but in my own way, right? Because voodoo is extremely important. I have the best way I can explain my mercy cult, and that's what I call it, is a combination of things that I connect with in the spiritual world. Because if you can see on my table, like there's different things here. And if you really pay attention, like I have my saint, Elegua, I have different colored candles that mean something. I have my minerals here. So when I need to do stuff, I have my sage here. So like everything has a purpose. I have my cards, like everything can be used for something, and a lot of people don't know that they can, get some milk and some perfume or cologne if you're a male, and get some white chalk and like literally transfer some energy to this bath and warm it up and put it on. And as you're doing this, you're attracting that energy towards yourself. Like a lot of people don't know that, you know what I'm saying? I'm just here to show that there's a way. There is a way through my music, because I also want to, touch on that aspect too. I still love dubstep. And I still have the emo stuff that I showed you that I still want to put out. So like Father Mercy is going to be a little bit of everything.
Really? So
not just music.
That was something that was actually going to get into. Is like with all this stuff that you're telling me of the image of Father Mercy, like how is it going to tie it up to your music? Like because you say yourself, you love making dubs and all that emo stuff. Is that all going to be tied up? But are there gonna be other genres as well?
Yeah, so
define you.
So I don't want to fall into the trap of my music has to sound exactly the way my brand is. Like I can definitely have like my debut song, It Is I. It's very dark. I don't know if you've heard it yet, but if you haven't, you should. There's a message there. It's very dark. It captures the dark energy that it was made for, right? So I don't want to fall into the trap of everything has to be that now. No, man. Like Father Mercy, like I just wrote a song the other day called Manic Episode, right? And within the song, I grab a vintage documentary and it tells you exactly what a manic episode is for a bipolar person. And then it builds up and it tells a story in the drop, like, you know, like how a manic episode or how I felt during a manic episode. And I created this song. Then there's another song that at one point in my life, you know, I wrote and it was very emotional. And I also want to put it out. There's also a cover that I did of Nickelback, Far Away, with one of my buddies, Carlos Grizzly. I'm going to put it out. So Father Mercy music is going to be a little bit of everything,
right,
but not messy. It's going to tell a story. I'm going to have visuals. My visuals are going to be similar to what I'm putting out there as my brand, but the music, it's just going to hit you different every single time, whether you're into hard shit or you're into soft shit or you're into a little bit of mid-tempo. Like,
right.
I'm going to put it out there, and then it should make my set very interesting.
That's actually pretty fucking dope to hear that, man. And I really want to actually touch about that whole aspect of saying, like, you know, this is what my song relates to what I am or what I've done or what I've become or what I've was, you know. And the reason why I find it very interesting that you're telling a story through your music, because I enjoy that a lot more. I really do, because it just tells me that you're like, it just tells me your story and I can feel it and I can see it and I can hear it. I can, like, I get you, you know. And
talking about Father Mercy is a guide. And with my music, I'm going to write what I feel. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put out what I feel. Like, I'm not going to listen to what the best song is right now and try to copy that and put it out just to show people that I can do that. Anybody can do that. What I want to write, if I, like, I'm big into the 80s and I have some synthwave shit that I wrote, I'm probably going to release that too.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a whole different combination of genres, right? But everything's going to be organized, you know, because also within there has to be structure. It can't just be tirado, you know, everything has to have its own proper presentation. And I'm working on that. You know, I really haven't truly figured it out. But I do know that every song that I write is going to be about something that I felt, whether it be super dark and heavy or, you know, something very melodic and sad.
No, I fuck with it a lot more, and I can relate to it because I don't believe we talked about this last time you were here or through our many texts that we talked through. But I am doing an EP for myself.
Nice.
And it's something, and I'm doing this at my own pace. There's no release date. There's no hopeful. Before I put a release, like I say, by the end of the year, you know, I already have something. Like, I removed that aspect because I remember, like, the reason why I made some of the latest songs like Raf, that it's on my at like all platforms. It's because Raf was just a feeling, you know, that was doing, because I couldn't do what I really wanted to do it, and I just wanted to explode myself out there, just like fuck. And my song itself became the most original shit that I've ever done in my life. Like, more original than you can ever think of, man. And it made me so happy that when I did that, I was like, holy fuck. And I did this on my own pace. And whenever I feel like it, this is it, that's done. And I did it. And so I came back with that whole mentality and did a song. And that's the song that I'm doing. That's a collab that with Mantic and Infinite.
Nice.
Shout out to my homies right there.
Yeah. Shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
I know them well.
And now I decided I'm doing an EP. But this EP, like, is very, very, like, the idea, the concept behind it is that half of the songs is all the shit that I felt before, or the dark, energetic stuff that I felt like. And then the other half is all the happy and positive stuff that I feel now. So it's kind of like a roller coaster of my own journey as an artist. Like that I went like this, and then like up here, then down here, then up here, and now that I'm going up and down, now I'm becoming more of the steady. And then these are like the last songs. So it's like the steady. This is where I am right now. And I already visualized like the artwork itself. The artwork is like half of it, like to put it in a picture. This is not the artwork, but to put it in a picture, let's just imagine that you're seeing like, a sort of like a Valhalla like castle realm, right? In which half of it is like, light, happy, flowers and pigeons and all that crap. And then the other half is dark, fire, shit is happening here and all that. That's like the image that I'm trying to get to this EP, And I even named the songs. Because that's how I felt through the time, And the funny thing about naming these songs is like I try to be, smart about it so people can feel like, oh, I get it. What's the opposite of pain? Pleasure. What's the opposite of despair? What's the opposite of joy? Fury. I was a lone wolf. Now I got a wolf pack. You see where I'm going with that? In the EP, I don't know if I'm gonna put it as a like right there as a full one EP or separate them into two different, like a part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that too. I don't know if I should just go, like I want to do EPs, but at the same time, like, it's just better to do one-offs for now, for me at least.
No, and absolutely. But this is something that I always wanted to do as myself. Like I want to do this, to say like, hey, I did it. It's a goal, and I finally did it. I got my project out there, and I'm really,
it looks exciting.
I really am excited. I really am excited. Like, and I just can't wait to to show it to you whenever I have like a sample whip out of one of them. Can't wait to show you like more or less what it is. I can't wait to show it to everyone else. It's
because
it's something that I'm looking forward to.
I feel like, back to what I said, that everybody, not everybody, I shouldn't say that. That's a very poor word. A lot of people that I've seen definitely like are sounding like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like it's refreshing now to see a lot more authenticity. So I feel like we should just follow that, you know what I'm saying? To be more of what you want to write. Like, like however, if it sounds good to you, put it out.
Exactly.
There's no reason to like,
yes,
just because it doesn't sound like this certain song, it's not good. I mean, it's your art, it's your perception of that genre.
And that's how I'm interpreting it with these projects. Like I'm doing it the way I wanted to do it, my way. And this is how I felt, and this is how I feel. And this is why, this represents me, and I just want to put it out there to let the whole world know, hey, this is me, this is where I am. Now I'm right here with the show, man. I'm right here with the show.
I fuck with that, man. And if you got some whips hanging around, bro, I wouldn't be opposed to working with you, man.
Hey,
I have a lot of collabs with some dope ass artists that I'm working on right now. So, I mean, it's collab season, bro. Like I also have my own personal projects that I'm going to release, but I'm always down to work, bro.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Once I get some of these tracks in order, man, at least some of the, like, I get the idea out there and it's there. I'm gonna send it over to you and see, which one you fuck with the most, man, and we can work it out. Absolutely.
For sure, man.
You already know, man. You already know. This is the Lone Wolf, man. The Lone Wolf podcast right here, exclusive. In the mix.
My boy. Well, you're gonna show me something?
No, I don't have any for right now.
Oh, you're talking like you're about to drop like a fucking mixtape right now. You're about to.
I'm trying to hype it out, bro. I'm trying to have it as just like, oh shit, let's go. Maybe I, overkill it right there, but it wasn't my intention, guys. Sorry. I didn't mean it like that,
Yeah, you gave him blue balls, bro. Damn. I thought he was about to be like, yo, check this out.
And yeah, it's okay. I cock block people before,
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
It happens. Build expectation, right?
No, that's the expectation, Gets you like the sense of the urgency of, oh shit, I can't wait. When is this shit gonna happen? When is this gonna pop out? When is this is like, ooh. It's like,
yeah, I'm definitely like once I start recording, so I'm gonna be doing, little episodes. Won't be like an interview. It'll be like my own thing, kind of like a do it yourself type of thing. So that's what I'm gonna be working on. Now that I have, a nice little setup, I think I'm gonna start going hard on that and releasing those episodes, and then releasing tracks. So it's an exciting time for sure. It's a lot of hard work, but I'm down for it.
And I was actually gonna ask you, now that it's just you as Father Mercy, like what is your creative process when it comes to doing these tracks now by yourself? Like what is it that you go ahead and start doing? Like you actually go ahead, it's a feeling that you gotta say, I'm gonna start through the intro, or I'm just gonna go start with the drop, or whatever.
Depends on my mood. Okay. It really depends on my mood. Like some days, like if I had a really hard day at work, or I'm not doing too well in my head, like I always go for the drops, just because I can. Not that it's easier, because it's not, but it's just like that's what I can release, right? It's like working out. Like if I'm pissed at something, I can go straight to the computer, write a mean ass drop where I can and then those feelings slowly fade away. But then sometimes I'm in my feels, and like I definitely want to create something that's a little more melodic. I don't know, man. It really depends on my mood. Like the whole Manic song, that was definitely a real situation. Like I was really going through that shit, and I was using music to fucking escape, and I wanted to creatively express what shit felt like in my head.
Right.
And maybe the melody wasn't up to par. Maybe the drop wasn't up to par. I don't care. At that moment, that shit sounded like what was going on in my head. And that's all, for me, that's all that matters. Or especially with collabs, my creative process is really like a theme. Like I think working with themes is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I have a song with Scafetta. It was around the time where Stranger Things was going to drop.
Oh.
So we wanted to do something like, a very synthwave-ish break, and obviously like a hard ass drop. So that was the theme for that. Very Tronish, futuristic, but at the same time, it has that like 80s synthwave sound design. But yeah, man, I really can't tell you what my creative process is, because it's such a mood for me most of the time.
And I was about to ask you about that when it comes to do collabs. Like, how do you actually go about it? Like, once you have something, you send it over to somebody that you believe, like, hey, I think this person will fuck with, or most of the times people come over to you, is like, hey, I got something, you want to hop in?
Like I said, man, there's so many different ways that a collab can start.
Yeah.
And I, the way I've done it, like sometimes it's me being like, yo, I like your sound, like let's do something together.
Right.
Oh, what do you want to do? I don't know, bro. Something scary, but at the same time, like extremely like upbeat. And then you just talk about it. Or sometimes I just have a shit ton of whips of drops and breaks that I've done, and somebody has the time to collab. I'm like, yo, which one of these whips do you fuck with the most?
Right.
Take that one. And then there's another one. I have a buddy, Heaven Fell. He's really good. I talked to him the other day through Discord, and we were both like expressing like what was going on through our mind. And he was like, oh, bro, I have an anime type of vibe right now. And I'm like, yeah, like you're about to fight type shit. Yeah. And then we just kept like creating this world for the song. And like the song is going to be like kind of like the, it's not done yet, but so far the break is very like inspirational, kind of like when you hear Rocky and he's training, like everything that's going on behind it, like the music wise, that gives you that motivation, inspiration type vibe. And then he's going to just fuck you up with the drop. So that's another way, creating together. And sometimes people do that same thing to me. They'll send me a bunch of whips and have me pick which one I like the most. And that's how those babies are created. It's not too difficult. It's pretty easy to collab with people, man, especially if they want to collab with you.
Exactly. Especially when they do, man. And once they do, it's like, hey, all bets are off, man. Especially when you hear their version and it's like it's completely different than what you would have expected. Your face palm goes like,
yeah, I love it.
And what has been your favorite project up till now? Out of like any of the projects that you've worked on so far, that says like, oof, this one's by far like
the one that I just did, the bipolar manic episode. Like
that one hit the nail in the coffin.
I told my girlfriend, I'm like, this is so me. Like this everything about it, that song, the Father Mercy song initially, bro, that shit took me way too long because I was trying way too hard to like fit so many types of details in like the break and like go way too hard on the sound design, like, and layering and a shit ton of it. And it's just like you kind of because it's your first song. So you want to show people, this is what I'm going to sound like.
Right.
I found myself stripping a lot, simplifying. And then through that simplification, I was able to write drops with a little more fluent vibe, if that makes any sense. Because I feel like you find your comfort with projects that you release, because then you start to like think, I could have done that, I could have done this.
Yeah.
So Father Mercy for me, I just want to outwork myself. Every song, I want everything to sound exactly how I want it to sound, not like try too hard. So probably the manic one, just because I didn't follow any rules. I just went off. Like all my patterns were just crazy. Like, typically, like I have a nice flow. Like this is a nice flow, but at the same time, there's so much shit going on in the background.
Damn, I can't wait to actually hear that song, bro.
I'll send it to you, bro. You're gonna be excited.
Fuck yeah. Well, I mean, another thing I actually did want to ask you about, like the longevity of your projects. Like, how long does it usually take you to finish a project of yours to say like, all right, I feel it's ready for the world?
It's a lot of production wise. I feel like I have a really easy time like finishing a track. Where I spend a lot of time on and I stress myself on is like mixing and not being too careful EQing, right? Because you can if you clean up everything way too much, at least for me, it loses its soul.
Yeah, right? That shit happens to me a lot of times, especially on the mastering. That's why I stopped mastering altogether. It just made sure that the mixing itself is good and it's loud.
And it's loud and clean.
Yeah, because every time I do the mastering, I don't know why, sometimes it loses that value that or the idea of how I wanted it to sound, and now it sounds more like, ooh, no, like, damn.
That's not the way it's supposed to. Like, so again, Father Mercy for me, because, like I went into it trying to produce exactly what I was used to with Dickinson. We had our own sound. We had our own packs that we made with older songs and we resampled everything. So we were constantly recycling our old sound, but by evolving it.
Yeah.
So coming to Father Mercy, I'm like, God damn, like, where do I go from here? How do I want to sound? And what I found out with the Father Mercy, the It Is I track, don't try to over mix or master, because again, like losing a distortion on 4 or 5 different tracks and you clean that up as much as you can, that's just going to be skinny as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn that, like, how I wanted to mix, because another thing that I'm hearing from, these upcoming producers is, man, everybody's breaking the rules now. Like everything is just different. Like there's no like set way of a genre. Like it's just so incredible now. I feel like a lot of these producers inspire me to keep pushing my own envelope. You know what I'm saying? Like you think of like Leo Tricks and all these guys that are exploding right now. Like, man, like they have their own sound, but at the same time, they were able to like break a lot of cookie cutter stuff. And that's how I feel like they stood out to the max. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't want to sound like anybody.
And that's something I'm always a believer of this, learn the rules so you can learn how to break them. Don't just break the rules without you know how the game really works. And I'm very happy to hear that that's these up and coming artists are definitely embracing the way they. It's my fiance. She's coming in, bro.
No, man, you're good. I had to do a pit stop on my girl too.
Yeah, of course. That's what we do. Say hi to our ladies, man. Say hi to your girl as well, man.
Baby says hello. She said, "What's up?"
GG.
She said, "Gang, gang."
Buzz. No, so what I was saying is like I love it how some of these new up and comers are much more welcoming with breaking the rules in the sense like I'll play whatever I want to play and I will make whatever I make and the people fuck with it. When we were back then, there was this stigma in which like, oh, you're a dubstep producer, you only do dubstep, you can't do anything else. Like, what the fuck? You're doing house? You're not a real dubstep, or you're not a real bass head. Oh, what the fuck? You're doing trap? Like, oh, you're not into it. You're just faking it. Blah 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 blah. And I love it that mentality itself.
Different times, man.
Yeah.
Different times. I feel like back then we were super careful, or everybody was super careful. Like you try to follow every single rule that all the big guys were following.
Yeah,
producing wise, it's such a different time. I feel like now sounding different is being a little more appreciated in the scene. I feel like the listeners, the fans, the people who support, their ear has adapted and they understand the value of production now, right? Like I definitely you hear a lot of people talk about, that aren't producers, that they like this and they like how that sounds. So they're starting to understand sound, right? I feel like back then, since, especially when you and I were coming up, like dubstep was dope as hell, but it was like bro step-ish type,
very bro step.
And rhythm hadn't even surfaced.
No, rhythm was still in its underground stages.
Extreme underground stage. And then once the two started to get closer, to each other, and then they like crossed paths, like it just exploded. And then it just took people some time to understand it. I mean, like, again, like somebody who I feel like does it so well, and I can't even put a genre on him, bro. Fucking Sudden Death, dude. Like, just how he just experiments.
I feel like Sudden Death has personified bass.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I identify as Sudden Death. Bass music. Because
real bass music, yeah.
Because he can go tear out, he could go rhythm if he wants to. And that's how he started out. Or he could go to some gnarly bass shit, like he could even go more mid-tempo-y. Like, you don't know with Sudden Death. Sudden Death actually make that personification of bass itself. Like,
mad respect to him and everything. Yeah. Like, from his branding and his image and how the way he's just, I mean, very, very inspiring, to say the least. Like, he's really dope. And I know Danny. I've met him a couple of times.
Oh, really?
We've had some dope conversations. Yeah, he's a really cool dude, bro.
Oh, that's dope,
really cool dude. Yeah, we've had some dope conversations for sure.
I always wanted to ask him, like, is he ever scared whenever he's like lifted up and hanging from the ceiling when he does?
Probably. Shit, I would be a little uncomfortable doing that. And now he spits fire. Fucking crazy,
what?
bro. It's so cool.
But
yeah.
the mask?
No, like he taught himself, or he learned how to spit fire. So like in the middle of his set, he would just go and spit fire. Yeah, bro, that's so awesome.
That's so wild shit, bro. What happens if one of that shit lands on the fucking City J's?
No, so he does it like, from what I've seen, like some of the shows that, you know, that he posts or whatever, he's usually like in the front of the stage.
Oh, okay.
With like, you know, that little gap between the stage and the followers.
Yeah. Damn, I mean, he's taking it to the next level and keep it going, bro.
Oh, bro, he's super cool. The way he's doing is super dope.
Yeah, I really do enjoy like that these people are breaking the mold instead of making it the same concept of music over and over again.
Evolve. They're evolving.
Evolve. Yeah. That's the word I'm trying to look for. Evolve.
They're evolving, bro. They're evolving the game for sure.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? Like, this is a weird conversation I'm about to bring up.
What's that?
I won't talk about the other stuff. I'll just get straight to like the music stuff. There's actually bots that are going to be able to grab a reference and make its own version of that reference. Like, per se, you pick your favorite Zomboy track.
Yeah.
And then you run that through this bot, this program. And the program will analyze everything within the song and give you, as long as you give it the information, you know, the BPM, the key, that way it knows how to guide itself. It will rewrite that song in its own way.
What?
Yeah, bro. You should look into that. It's scary, bro. And it's like, they're already starting to do it with like different things, like video. Like, you can give the bot a video and it can like rearrange things, bro. It's insane.
Yo, where can I find that?
We'll talk about that off camera. Because it's a lot of links, and like you have to go through a bunch of little like registrations, and then you get there, and then I don't really want to, like, if their project isn't ready to be talked about, I don't want to like be that guy that like, yo, what the fuck? Like, it wasn't ready.
But you know what? I think I know what you're talking about, because I have seen videos of these guys, like, they say like, this is like, they drop like a couple tracks and they tell the bot, this is how I want
AI,
I want you to sound like the vocals from Maroon 5, the beat from Drake, the lead from this and that. Like, you give that information and they'll make you a song with the vocals on top of it, and it's a whole new original song. And I saw that. I remember it's not too long ago, I saw a video like that, similar to what you're saying. And I don't know if I should be like excited for it or I should be afraid of it.
I think it's going to be a tool. I think it's going to be, you still need to know how to make music,
right,
in order to properly do something like that. Or else you're going to have the same problem. Everybody's going to sound the same, because everybody's going to be on the default setting of the AI.
Yeah.
You know, it's what you do, your manipulation, right? And that's like something I don't think an AI can ever do, is process something like a human. Because our whatever, like the way you produce, or like, say it like my girlfriend's a painter, so I admire anybody who can create images with their hands, because that's just insane to me. Like, I can't get past a stick figure if I try to draw it. Right? Exactly. This is that, the sun in a house.
Exactly.
And like the way, artists can create like off the top of their head, like, yes. And that's even another thing. AIs are learning how to do that now. That's really a thing. But I don't think it'll ever be authentic or as original as like a human artist. I mean, yeah, maybe it can look futuristic or it can look high quality, but I mean, you'll never get that like human creation, right? Because I think that it's just so unique. But I don't know, man. AI is me and you I gotta tell you a couple of things. That there's scary to see a lot of things evolving, and like AIs are really gonna take over in like the next probably 50 years, man. Like I think that's gonna be a thing where
I agree. This is something that I've talked to a couple times to people and say like, dude, like the whole concept of AI is already here. You know, like we already have AI now. The whole concept of AI to be having it as a use for stuff is not too far from it. Like we're getting close to that part where we're gonna have an actual, you know, Cortana within us.
Bro, think about this. I saw a video of a concept, a bunch of concepts. So it was a TikTok video. This was a while ago. I didn't even follow the account. I should have now that I found it interesting. But it's a fast food restaurant only ran by bots, and the only human that was there to like the money, like the actual money. But everything from flipping a burger to frying fries to taking your order on the screen, the whole fast food restaurant was ran by robot, by AI, from the cooking to the storage of like, you know, the ingredients. Like it was like a freaking whole factory of robots just preparing a cheeseburger, fries, and a milkshake. Yeah. And I was like, what?
It's already at that process, especially, like you said, these fast food restaurants. I feel like McDonald's is the one fast food chain that's doing these beta testing with this type of shop. I mean, if you look at some of these McDonald's shops, you'll see that they no longer have a cashier. Like everything, you just go straight to
Apple Pay. To the app. Yeah.
You just go straight either to the app or go to a touch screen. You select your order, you pay it right there, and then you wait for your number until somebody brings it over to you. It's already got to the point that they can replace cashiers. Like we don't need a cashier. We can just mount touchscreen kiosk right there. People order it, wait for their order, bang.
That's pretty much what it's going to come down to. And that's what that video had. So when it comes to music and just technology, period. I mean, dude, for God's sake, we finally got to a point where the car can drive for itself.
You. Yeah.
You know,
now we're just waiting for the bionic arms, you know, to actually have, like, for those who have lost limbs, they can actually have.
Elon Musk is actually preparing a chip that is in your brain.
Chip.
Yeah, that sends, it pretty much stimulates those nerves that were there to, per se, people who are paralyzed and things like that. They have functionality with their limbs and stuff like that. It's just, obviously, it's still in the beta. I'm pretty sure they're testing it on people right now. But that's something that he did talk about, that there's going to be chips in people's brains that are going to help them either become stronger. It's going to help them, like, move if they have lost the ability to move. I get hot too, bro. I'd be turning that shit to like 69.
Yeah, I get really, really high. That's why I always got a fan next to me, man, because I really get high, especially I'm a hairy person. So
same.
Shit. But no, I feel like it's a scary film because this is like another episode of Black Mirror, man.
Yes, exactly what it is.
And it's funny because I don't know how the writers of Black Mirror did it, man, but they basically nailed everything spot on, to the neurochip part, to the whole conspiracy stuff, to the part of, you know, social media dictating our lives, like shit like that. Like, it's so wild that some of these things are actually happening and it's becoming a reality. It's a very scary thought. Listen, man, we're gonna wrap this up right now,
for
man,
sure,
because we had a great conversation.
It was definitely dope. I enjoyed it very much.
Absolutely, man. And I just want to say thank you again do for just have this opportunity to sit down and have this conversation with me, man. Once more, man.
Same here, bro. I can't wait till we do it again, bro. Much love as always.
Absolutely, bro. We're gonna be doing this like over and over again in the future, man. I'm looking forward to those future dates again, man. And but before we leave, this is the portion where we tell people to give an advice to somebody. Let's say that you're the prophet for some base dude. He's like, oh my god, it's Father Mercy. You're like, bless. What are the advice that you give to that base head that says like, I want to be in that position where you are? It's like, all right, my son, here's what you got to do,
bro. I'm gonna be cliche and say,
go for it.
Imagine it and make it happen. Whatever you're imagining, whatever it is that you're imagining, make sure that you break it up into steps and you make each one of those steps happen in a very high quality manner. And you'll get to where you need to get.
I love it.
That's the best advice I can give.
Dude, I love it, man. And we just ended it with a high note, man. Thank you very much for
sure, my bro.
Dude. And before we leave, plug yourself out. Let the people know where they can follow you and what
they can follow me at Father Mercy Music on all socials, all around.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Well, thank you very much, Father Mercy, man. It's an honor, privilege, as always.
Blessings,
brother. Blessings.
And be safe, man.
Be safe, brother. And thank you guys for listening. And remember, every week is a brand new episode with a brand new topic. So always remember to like and subscribe for your weekly episodes at the Lone Wolv Podcast for SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. And of course, the video version at youtube.com/the Lone Wolv Podcast. All together, guys. So comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts. Share your experiences. If you guys got a specific topic that you want me or Father Mercy to talk about it, please let us know in the comments down below, and we'll do our best to talk about it on the next episode. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Peace.
Be safe.